From LEX 18, your official UK sports station for Big Blue Nation, this is BBN Tonight. Presented by Central Bank, the official bank of UK Athletics.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of BBN Tonight. I'm Eli Gain.
And I'm Keith Farmer. Tonight, the Cats take on the Crimson Tide for bragging rights at the top of the SEC. Both teams currently undefeated in the conference. It's a big game, tipping off at 9 o'clock inside Rupp Arena.
And we are getting you ready for it. Our complete preview of Kentucky versus Bama begins tonight's Big Blue story presented by Baptist Health. Your Kentucky Wildcats coming off their best game of the season, an 18-point beatdown over Florida in Gainesville. Now, Alabama, they're coming off a big win of its own, a 4-point victory over in-state rival Auburn. Against the Gators, we saw Kentucky in its best form, hands down. A balanced offense, 4 Wildcats scoring in double figures, plus a more active defense. Coach Cal praising Dante Allen on Twitter for his efforts. We also saw B.J. Boston really step up after struggling against Vanderbilt. And then Isaiah Jackson, he had a few really big stretches. And Cal says the team knows that the road is not going to be getting any easier after that performance.
Or every game that we played this year was a war, and it's going to continue on. And this one is a war too. So we're preparing every day for practice to get prepared for every team we face, including Alabama. So we're going to come in fighting.
And we saw some of that fight against Florida, guys diving on the floor, more aggressive rebounding. And Keith, the Cats have won 12 of the last 13 against the Tide, but this is a very good Alabama team in 2020.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're going to talk more about them here in a second, but I tell you, this Kentucky team does look like a different team at this point after that Florida game. I don't know that it was just Keon Brooks. I think these guys are really just finally coming into their own a little bit. Let's look at the numbers now, and Alabama really pushing the pace with over 77 possessions per game. That's compared to Kentucky's 71.
Yeah.
They're also firing up 29 three-pointers per game, 29. On average, only making about 9 of those, but, you know, you can't let them get hot, Eli.
No, and you got guys like John Petty, Jaden Shackelford. Those are the two that are going to be leading the way in terms of three-point attempts. But you also have guys who kind of fill in the pieces around them. You got 4 guys averaging over 12 points a game. You got 2 guys that come off the bench averaging nearly 8. So a very well-balanced team. You're going to have to stick with them throughout the game. All right, now on to offensive efficiency. And if you look at the overall season, well, Alabama's numbers are better, but if you compare just the last 3 games when Kentucky has played closer to its potential, it's much closer, almost identical numbers there. Keith, all those three-pointers that Bama does shoot skews that offensive efficiency quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think maybe Keon helps a little bit with this, but I also think it was the emergence of Devin Askew, the way he came on to be the point guard for this team. Now, the difference between offensive identity in the first 7 games versus the last 3 show a lot of growth and promise for Kentucky. Alabama head coach Nate Oates knows that too.
They've got guys that are going to play in the NBA. I mean, they may have been young and inexperienced, and Keldon wasn't able to get them quite where he wanted them early in the year, but they're there now, so we're going to be playing them at their best basketball.
The Cats were named NCAA March Madness Team of the Week after wins over Vandy and Florida. And Eli, I mean, I'm expecting this one to go back and forth. Kentucky likes to run.
Yep.
Alabama likes to get down there and put up a 3 quickly. I can see this thing just being a track meet from side to side.
It's going to be one of those things, too, when you do have teams that like to run a lot, it could lead to a lot of mistakes in the turnover column. So whoever can just keep it a little more together could probably find themselves on top in this one. All right, well, the Cats roster today will likely be similar to what we saw against Florida on Saturday. Keon Brooks obviously back and expected to play, but Terrence Clark is still dealing with that ankle injury that's been bothering him since the Louisville game. Now, as of this taping, no official word, but he's not likely to play. When he is recovered and back in the rotation, Coach Cal says he may find himself in a new role.
Well, he's going to have to work his way in. I mean, right now we're playing pretty good. What I've said to him when he's on the bench, I said, you got to look at our team and say, where can I add something? Where can I make us better? What can I do that we need to have done? That's what you need to do. Don't worry about coaching guys. You can cheer a little bit, but if I'm you, I'm sitting back watching, saying, all right, where can I add to this? Because that's what he's going to have to do.
And that's a good point. That's what this program, that's what Coach Cal has been preaching ever since he got here, is accepting your role. And now Terrence Clark, yes, he is a young kid, but mentally, you got to have it up here, and you have to realize where you're going to fit into this team to make them succeed.
I think that's where we found Devin. He was, mature enough at his young age to realize he needed to step back and go into a different role. And he even said it: if I had to be from the bench, whatever it had to be, I'm going to do it because I want this team to win. And so we're seeing that they're each learning their role, maybe a little bit longer than it's taken in recent years. But he's learned his role. Now it's time for Terrence to learn his whenever he is able to get back.
For sure.
All right, a sad note now because the BBN has lost one of its own. Two-sport athlete and Kentucky native Ben Jordan died on Monday. He was just 22 years old. The West Carter High School grad signed with the UK baseball team in 2018, but he also joined the basketball team last season as a walk-on. Mitch Barnhart, John Calipari, and baseball coach Nick Mingione all released statements on Jordan's passing, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Ben's family and friends and everyone who is hurting today.